Hi guys, Tracy Ann Doss. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite show, Married at First Sight Australia 2026. It's season 13 and we are here for a little recap of episode 9. Brooke's bold, drunken behavior from the night before was on everybody's lips the next day. No one had seen this nasty side of her yet, and I certainly hadn't. I thought she was our little princess. So this is pretty shocking to me, and I'm sure it was shocking to everybody. Scott told Gia about how negative Steve was about Rebecca. All the guys were talking about it. Rebecca has no clue that Steve is so unhappy with the relationship. Or apparently, or so we think. He never even mentioned green flags. His smile when being interviewed by production was creepy. What a complete phony. I'm disappointed. I didn't know he was like that. Rebecca is a knockout, but just not the 30-year-old he was expecting. I think I'm more excited about the commitment ceremony than anyone. There needs to be some serious accountability here by a lot of people. Gia's really confident in her relationship with Scott, but I believe they were both a little bit humbled after the audition tape debacle. I mean, remember they talked about themselves as the power couple, as Barbie and Ken. I'm not sure if they're going to be talking like that anymore. I think they realized that they were living in the clouds, and this is a real relationship with real relationship issues. If only one relationship works out here, I really hope it's Rachel and Steven. I just love them. They seem to be getting along so well. Stella's pissed off the next morning at Brooke. I mean, I think she had a little bit more time to think about it. I believe she was in total shock, as we all were, when Brooke had her little outburst. It was quite rude of her, and to think, I thought she was such a perfect little princess. I worry sometimes about my assessment of people, my initial assessment of people. And Stella says everyone judges through their own lens. I love that saying, because you can only judge with the information that you have about life in general or about the other person. And it doesn't really give you a real full view of what's going on. Stella is very astute, and she knows Brooke's behavior was just pure jealousy. She knows it's because Chris and Brooke are having problems in their relationship. Chris seems to be a little surprised as well. He's seeing another side of Brooke for the first time too. The girls' energy seems much more upbeat than the boys'. The boys' energy is just very low. I mean, I just think talking about feelings is not on their top 10 things to do today. Luke and Mel are first, which was shocking to me because I would have thought they would have left them for last. Luke explains to the experts he feels like he is getting pushed away, and he is. The experts could see to Mel's. She has a real disdain for Luke, and it's apparent to everybody. Mel says she didn't get an instant spark, and therefore she didn't try. And he was late to the wedding, he was chewing gum, and her excuses are so childish. Remember the one where he listens to the TV too loud? John, the expert, tells Mel she needs a wake-up call. This isn't about Fantasyland or fairy tales. She needs to gain some open-mindedness, and she needs to live in reality. And she needs to ask herself why they were matched. She needs to dig a little deeper. You've once again done the very thing that's keeping you single. You need someone reliable with family values who wants commitment. He's able to treat you well because he's emotionally mature. And the real disappointment is that you wouldn't let him in. Mel really hurt Luke. He just wanted to get to know someone and to have some fun and see where it led. Mel, what a cold heart she has. She claims to be embarrassed by her behavior. I think she's just saying this in front of the experts. Luke says he doesn't want to leave on such a negative note, and everybody is so excited that he's staying. I don't know why he's staying and giving this girl a million more chances when she's done nothing but hurt his feelings and being completely horrible to him. She didn't anticipate that, and she's the one who has to say leave and look like the bad guy, and this kind of bothers her a little bit. The experts tell her to be curious and kind and have some fun. There's no pressure. It's just a fresh start. Let's see if she takes their advice. Gia and Scott are next. Scott thanks the experts for pairing him with his beautiful wife. He lets them know they're very compatible and their chemistry is off the charts. Scott smiles his huge smile. They tried to hold off with their intimacy, but the sex drive is just so intense they could not. He is wishing it was him next to Gia. You can see his eyes kind of when she talked about how sexually charged she is. This is what he wanted. But this is not what Danny needed. He's had that a million times. The energy and enthusiasm is huge between Gia and Scott, and it's nice. The experts are happy with their connection. Beck and Danny's face says it all. They are next on the couch. Beck immediately addresses their chemistry, and Gia gloats. When Danny started to try, and he put the initial non-spark aside, things changed for the better. Oh God, it's Rachel's weird laugh again. Cringe, but I love her. It's their turn up on the couch, Rachel and Steve. Revelations week was positive for them. They connected and understood each other through commonality, and Rachel adores Steven. Steve and Rebecca are up next. Steve says he's very happy with the way things are going, and everyone's so confused, especially the guys, because he unloaded all of this negativity about Rebecca to them, and now he's saying everything's great and they know better, and none of them say a word. They're quiet as can be. Alexandra asks Rebecca how she's feeling because she can sense something's wrong, and Steve immediately responds. He talks over his wife, and Alexandra cuts him off and says she would love to hear from Rebecca. I think he is one of those men who's interested in controlling the narrative and controlling a person, and he's not going to get that with Rebecca. Rebecca is craving affection. She's not getting any romance. She definitely doesn't feel desired by Steven because he doesn't desire her. And what does being conservative have to do with anything? It has nothing to do with intimacy. She knows Steve only sees her as a friend, but Rebecca's attracted to him, and she's not there for friendship. She is there for a relationship. She and her son have been just the two of them for so many years. She's given so much of her private social life up to raise this child by herself and poured everything into him. And now it's time for her to have a nice bond with somebody. And she's not getting it with Steve. Rebecca does not want a platonic relationship. And she looks really bummed. Brooke is nervous, and the expert call her out. Chris seems dejected. His energy is quiet. He seems depressed. That makes me sad because he was so happy before Revelations week. And I think she's really used this information that she's got to just not be very nice and just be nasty. I don't know what it is, but he is a completely different man on the couch today. I really think Brooke is getting tons of joy discussing the fat person comment. She won't let it go. Chris realizes his behavior is degrading. He is very disappointed in himself, and you can see it. I think Brooke's willing to give it another go. I hope so, because they do have a really good time together if she could just get past this. I know it was a disappointing discovery for her, but I hope she lets it go. Julia and Grayson are up. We haven't gotten to spend a lot of time with these two. We don't really know where they are in their relationship. I don't think much is developed there. Julia loves that Grayson is adventurous, and they are trying to build a strong foundation and friendship. Grayson is willing to build that, but he really needs a romantic connection, and he's just not seeing any progression in that area. There has been no romance between the two of them, and Grayson tells Julia all the conversations that they have are about her, and it's wearing thin. He wants her to get to know him as well, and what he's about and what his needs and wants are. She just doesn't seem to really be interested in talking about anything other than herself. I think she makes things too complicated, and a connection doesn't really have to be like that. It can be just really simple, just an energy between the two. He has been very supportive of her, but he doesn't believe she is putting in the effort. Alexandra tells Julia she needs to put her guard down and get to know Grayson. Alyssa and David are just a stunning couple. David got the whole package. He loves her feistiness and values and religious beliefs, and their upbringing is very similar. The Gia and Brooke show presents itself once again. They can't help but chitter chatter in the background when the two are on the couch, which is quite rude and again gives off mean girl vibes. Stella and Philippe are up, and they're really a drama-free couple so far. They're doing great. I believe there is a lot of jealousy towards Stella by a few of the girls, and she could care less, really. She's really just there for the relationship. Their eye contact between the two of them is intense, and the experts talk about it, which that's a trust thing and also a very intimate thing. Stella takes a moment to bring up that some of the behavior from the other girls has been very contentious. Brooke becomes unhinged. She didn't even say it was Brooke specifically, but Brooke knows it's her. So she tells the experts she believes it's a performative relationship, and Chris seems to even be a little bit uncomfortable with the new Brooke. I'm not sure if he's as much of a fan. Brooke is making Stella's point. She doesn't have to say a word. Then Gia told Alyssa to shut up when Alyssa interjected, and neither of these women have done anything wrong. They've not done anything against Gia or Brooke for these girls to be acting like this. It's really weird how they fuel off each other. Luckily for Stella, she's very emotionally intellectual and experienced, and she can see that her relationship is thriving, and she can also see that when somebody's not happy for someone else, it's usually because of their own insecurities. I'm wondering if Brooke even remembers her bad behavior from the night before. Maybe she's so drunk she doesn't remember, but we remember. We saw it. Stella tried to pull Brooke aside after the commitment ceremony and have just a one-on-one talk with her, but she wasn't going to have any part of it, which is too bad. Stella was very misunderstood in this particular situation. She wasn't trying to throw Brooke under the bus per se. She certainly didn't mention her name. Brooke's outburst was so intense. I think she was in such a rage that she doesn't even know what she was saying, and she wasn't calmed down yet when Stella had approached her. I mean, who is this new Brooke? Did they replace her? She is not the same girl. I don't understand it. She was so sweet and kind. She's completely overreacting. I'm curious to see what happens next episode, if they can work through this argument, because Brooks clearly doesn't ever wants to talk to Stella again. That's how mad she is as she storms off. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I did for sure, and can't wait for the next one. So I hope I see you there. Take care. Bye.